I know you talked about Alex last week and the touchback stat, but that may have been, just in terms of impact, the biggest game of his career. What can you say about his role in kind of the hidden yardage that went into the game Saturday?
I thought Alex did a great job in the game, and on the road, good opponent, good defense. Field position in that battle of hidden yardage and the field position battle that we talk about. Being able to establish that early in the game, and then really maintain that throughout the first half. I thought he did an excellent job. I thought our cover guys did a great job getting down. I think there was 3 punts that ended up inside the 10. And for us to be able to create that kind of field position for our defense, and then ultimately set up field position for our offense, it was critical. And I can't say enough good things about just the way he's performed, and especially in those situations. I was a little worried that I might have jinxed him last week when I said he hadn't had a touchback since his first game, but he was able to come through really big in that game the other day.
All right, next will be Ryan in the back.
Coach, sticking with Alex, where have you seen him grow the most since he's arrived on campus?
I think just his overall awareness when it comes to in-game thoughts and adjustments. Last year everything was so brand new to him, and just the game day atmosphere itself was just such a new experience and environment for him. And now he'll come to me, and based off where we are situationally in the game, or where the field position is, and have thoughts about what punt he wants to hit, whether he wants to try to hit a spiral that goes over the guy's head, or whether he wants to try to just hang it up there at about 40 yards and let our guys go down. We'll have those conversations. And a year ago, I don't think he understood as much what his impact and role on games was. He was just out there to punt the ball to the best of his ability. Now I think he strategically understands a lot more of what we're trying to accomplish, which obviously makes him a better player and more of a weapon for us.
All right, we'll go over to Ira on the right.
On the other side of those punts, how much pride are those coverage guys taking in being the guy to make sure it doesn't go into the end zone?
A tremendous amount, to be honest. The guys, I don't know if this gets noticed, but like Pokey stays on the field in those sky situations, which is really the only time he plays that gunner role. And as a matter of fact, on the one that he caught at the 1 yard line, we made eye contact as that third down was transitioning to fourth down, and I could tell he was pretty gassed from running the route the play before. And I said, "Hey man, I need one play from you, dog." And he said, "I got you." And went in there and made a heck of a play. And those guys take a lot of pride in that. We work it every single week. I think that they understand the significance and importance of the role, and I think the cover guys in general on that punt unit take a lot of pride. Ja'Kai Douglas, I don't think there's a stat for it, but I think he's probably forced more fair catches from an opponent than anyone I can remember in terms of consistently running down on punt cover. And there's a lot of guys that have done a great job with that, and obviously that needs to continue this week.
Aslan?
Coach, in this day and age, is it a luxury when you have 2 defensive ends that can get after the quarterback, or is it a necessity to be able to only rush forward and pressure the quarterback?
Well, I think it's probably both. It's great to have 2 guys that can do it, and in this day and age, to play defense the style in which we play defense, it is a necessity because we don't run a lot of third down pressure, and we're more of a coverage team right now because that's the way we're structured. And to be able to create pressure with your front four is extremely critical. And we play with a lot of 2 high safeties in the run game, and that puts stress on the front to make sure that they're doing a great job of creating knockback at the line of scrimmage and securing their gaps. And our guys have really, I think they've embraced that challenge. There's a lot of times that I'll go in on a Wednesday or a Thursday and say, "Hey, listen, here's the plan on third down. It's on you." There's no schemed up pressures. There's no all kinds of things that coaches, we can come up with all those things, but right now that doesn't play to the strength of what we are. And if you can establish a pass rush with 4 guys, it creates a lot of opportunity on the back end to change your coverages up. The more you have to pressure, the more limited you are in your coverage options. And I think our ability to establish that pass rush has been critical.
All right.
Where did things go wrong in that long kick return they had?
Yeah, so on the long kick return, I don't love the call in hindsight. We went deep right. into a little bit of a crosswind, but the two deep rights that we had gone with previously ended up being good kicks for us, so I felt comfortable with the call at the time. But just looking back at it in hindsight, probably could have given Parker an opportunity to just try to bang it out of the end zone, but we hadn't been doing that. So, you know, we were a little bit misfit with how our lane distribution should have been run down the field, and that can't happen. You know, we got to make sure that you know, everybody has a specific landmark they need to hit. The reason for that is to make sure that our distribution is the way it needs to be. And on that particular one, we misfit about a landmark over and end up hitting.
We'll go to Kurt on the front row.
After the start to the season the team had, I guess, what's it mean, the response they've shown to now being in a position for where a bowl berth is on the line this weekend?
You know, I think, you know, in a lot of ways, I've been really blessed and very lucky in my career to be on a lot of teams that have been really good. But I think I may have learned more and grown as much as any other year in this year, personally, just from working with this group of guys, players and coaches. It's a group that has a tremendous amount of belief in what we're building as a program. It's a group that comes to work every single day, regardless of circumstance. And it's a group that has come together as the season's gone on. And I think, you know, I've said this before, and I really believe this with everything. It starts at the top of the organization. The message from Coach Norvell did not change at 0-4, and it hasn't changed winning 5 of the last 7. It's still about maximizing today, being the best that you can be today, and let tomorrow take care of itself. And then tomorrow we're gonna try to be the very best we can be and stack those days on top of each other, and that puts you in a position to have a chance to be successful on Saturdays. And you know, that's our approach this week. I don't think we've gotten to the point where we're doing any reflection on you know, what the season is yet. Our focus is to put together the best Monday that we can, to put a game plan together that our guys have a chance to be successful with, and then Tuesday, go practice. And that's been the focus. And that's been the focus throughout, and I think that's what's allowed us to stay on track as the season's gone on.
Ira?
Kier had a really big game statistically, the sacks, but also the hits and hurries and everything else. But after the game, when we talked to him, he sounded almost mad about the missed opportunities. I don't know, you may not have even known him a year ago. How much have you enjoyed coaching him, and how big of an impact did he have, just his attitude?
Kier is I mean, he's had and it's hard to quantify how significant his impact has really been on not only the defensive front, but the whole team in general. He's a guy that everybody has respect for. He's a guy that's physical, he works hard, he's smart, he understands the game, he says the right things at the right time, and his frustration about maybe some of the things that he might have left on the field is probably what drives him to be a really good player. Because, you know, I think in a lot of cases it's easy to look at your successes and pat yourself a little bit on the back after the type of game that he played. But I think when he came into work on Sunday, he was as focused on some of the things that he may have left out there as he was the things that he was really good at. And I think that's what's going to drive him to this week, you know, to make sure that he has whatever he feels like his best performance can be. And that doesn't always mean statistically you're going to have 3 or 4 sacks or whatever the case might be. It just means that I think he wants to put his best performance out there. And I think he's really aware of the clock is ticking. You know, I mean, you know, he's a guy that I think has enjoyed every minute of being a Seminole and knows this is our last regular season game, and he's going to do everything he can in his power to make sure we get one more.
We'll come to Zach over here in the front row.
How much does the production of both Jermaine and Kier and, you know, the defensive line in general help in recruiting, you know, in the high school ranks and even in the transfer portal?
You know, that's an interesting question. You know, I obviously use all the information, you know, with every guy that we're recruiting in terms of the production that we've been able to have at defensive end, and how that's a featured position within our defense. And I believe this, in recruiting, and whether you're talking about recruiting a high school athlete or recruiting a transfer athlete, actions always speak louder than words. And in recruiting, a lot of people are going to sell a lot of different things. But if we can present that, you know, this actually happened. Like, we brought 2 guys in and out of the portal, and this is exactly how we said it was gonna happen, and then it happened. And that's a tribute to their hard work and their great play. But I do think it opens up eyes for people that could be looking at Florida State as a potential home, whether that's as a high school player or as a transfer, because it's played out exactly how we thought it'd play out. So I do think it's critical. How much every recruit pays attention to people's statistical success, I'm not sure on that, but I certainly use every piece of it that I can.
All right, last one, we'll go back to Ira.
Both of the quarterbacks have had a lot of success running. What kind of pressure does that put on the ends in the defensive line in general?
Well, you know, I think the stress that any mobile quarterback puts on their front is the discipline and the responsibility that's necessary to play good against an athletic quarterback. You know, you can be a little bit more aggressive, probably take a few more chances when you're playing a non-mobile quarterback. But when you are playing against a guy that's looking to get out of the pocket and break it and go, or have designed quarterback run game, you have to be disciplined. And you know, that's going to be the challenge this week. Make sure that we maintain great rush lanes, and that's going to take all 4 guys to do it. And then that we also play discipline in the design quarterback run game, because obviously that's a huge piece of their offense.
All right. Are we gonna do it again?
And then
Sure.
Oh, no. It's Thanksgiving weekend, Thursday at the Papuchis household, is it turkey or ham?
It's absolutely turkey, but it's both. We got some. I'm a big turkey guy, but we definitely have our honey baked ham coming whenever we pick it up. But it's a big event. We got a lot of family that comes into town every year. I'm excited about it just because last year COVID, just like everybody, you know, probably affected a lot of people getting together from a family perspective. But we got a lot of cousins and grandparents and family that join us every year for Thanksgiving, because we obviously can't travel because it's always during the season. So, you know, it's one of the times of the year that I look most forward to. As a matter of fact, people have already started rolling into the Papuchis house now. So it's a crowded house, but that's what it's about. It's family and you know, I'm excited that it's here.
I was trying to make it funny, you got all sincere on it.
He's got more.
I did.
What's your favorite side dish?
Oh, absolutely. My wife does sweet potatoes with marshmallows on top. That's my deal.
Okay, well, that answers the last 2 questions. All right, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, everybody. Have